Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way. This is season 1, episode 12 and 13. Hey guys, I'm sorry that I have been MIA for The Other Way, and I'm sorry for the sneak attack. You know, I'm always going to sneak attack. I'm never going to announce when I'm going live. You just have to catch it when you catch it. So as always, those of you who are watching this live, please go on ahead. Feel free to comment in the comment section. Hi, Sophia. Hi, Slim Jim. And you guys have your conversation there. I, on the other hand, will just be going through what happened in the episode, and then I will be talking to you guys afterwards. So talk amongst yourself, and then those of you who are not watching this live, that way you can get a clear and concise, cohesive review. Okay, so first let's start with Deavan and Jihoon. I don't know, my lighting seems weird. Let's see. I'm trying to fix this real quick. Oh, I'm at Chris's house. Let's see. Can I lower it a little bit? Does it work up there? Yeah, I think it looks better now. Okay, so Deavan and Jihoon. What to say? Okay, let's just start at the beginning. So Jihoon gets to the U.S. Oh, no, sorry. The other episode. Deavan has got to have this baby because her blood pressure is too high, and she's really worried, and so is the doctor. So she lets Jihoon know that she's having the baby early. She's mad at him because she told him not to buy his ticket, but he did anyway. But it's just her and mom. Mom puts a GoPro on her head, and they Skype the birth, so it's a C-section. Whew. C-sections just make my teeth on edge. Oh gosh. So they have to, dig in and pull the baby out. And so they pull the baby out. His name is Taeyin, and he's so cute, and he's, good. He's healthy. And Jihoon and his parents are watching in Korea, and they are like, but Jihoon's parents are so happy to welcome their first grandson. They say it's like a big blessing, and they're very happy, and they tell their son to be good, be a good father. And Jihoon's just very nervous. Jihoon, I don't know. Is Jihoon like a Korean, is he kind of a loser in Korea? You know what I'm saying? What is his story? Because we later find out, after he comes to the US, we find out that he quit his job, fixing phones, in order to get a better job and to prepare for Deavan coming. But that seems backwards to me. He doesn't even have an apartment yet. So Jihoon gets to the US, right? 2 weeks after the baby is born. And Deavan has some concern. She's really concerned. she's he keeps saying, trust me, I'm going to get a job. Everything will work out. It'll be fine. And she's just I can't, I cannot. And I'm 100% with her. So they go as a family to the park, and Deavan puts on the craziest makeup. I don't even know. Is she going for kawaii girl? She's wearing this long dress that's pastoral, and she's got pink on. I think she's going for some kind of Korean look, some Korean kawaii girl or something. I'm so confused, and it's just not blended, and the lipstick is just up here. It's just doing a lot. Hi, Blue Delo, and hi, Tiana. Thank you guys so much for coming to help me, do the Lord's work and be moderators. If you guys hear a sound in the background, I have the fan blowing on me so that I don't sweat profusely, as I am known to do. Okay. Girl, her makeup was a mess. I just want to talk about it more because that's really the focal point. Drusilla, well-behaved as ever, but her mom in that makeup, it looked terrible. So Deavan is trying to have these serious conversations with Jihoon about his finances. Has he saved up any money? Because she's he knew 2 weeks, when I was 2 weeks pregnant, that I was pregnant. He knew before I missed a period. So he had this whole time to get his shit together and do savings and get us an apartment. And he hasn't. And he just keeps telling her, don't worry, don't worry. To me in the US, it's hard to get an apartment. You have to have every time I've had to get an apartment, there's been a little bit of an interview. There's been a background check. There's been first, last, and whatever rent. There's they want to call your previous landlords. You have to fill out a whole leasing form. It's a whole bit of business. It's not just hey, I have some money. I can pay my rent. Here you go. And then I can move in. I don't know. And I don't think, I don't know what it's like in Korea, but he's telling her not to worry. I don't know if he has some kind of hookup, some kind of connect. I don't know. But I would be very worried if I were her, and she is worried. So After 2 weeks of him being in the US, she takes him to the airport because it's time for him to go home. And on the way there, she reiterates that he needs to get a job and get it together. And she's like, okay. And he's like, don't worry, it's okay. And she's like, no, I am worried. And even in the confessionals, he's like, don't worry. And she's like, no, I am worried. You keep saying to trust me, and I don't. So I'm moving my whole life, including my 3-year-old, to Korea to be with you. And I don't want to be in some like crazy circumstance. I just wish you could come to the US. Yeah. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Paul and Karine. Yikes, y'all. Yikes. Okay. So they get their house, right? They go for the cheaper one. And Paul has got his cooling pack on and he's walking around, not Medellin, Tarantis. I can't say the word because the way they pronounce it and how it's spelled on TV looks two different things. So he's looking for work. Of course, he doesn't speak the language. And so Karine is like annoyed with him, as would any regular person be, because he's had ample opportunity to figure out and to learn Portuguese, especially when he knew that he had to come here and work, and he didn't do it because Portuguese is hard. And she's like, English is hard, you idiot. God, he's such a... And so, sorry, let me come back to myself. Paul he infuriates me. And so he has no luck finding a job. In fact, he goes into one place and the man's like, get out of here, get out of here. And like every other place is like looking at him like he's crazy. Like, no, go away. Nobody wants you to work there. You can barely work in the US. And so he gets home and she's like, no luck. And he's, like, no luck. It's really hard. And he's coming up with excuses as normal. And she's like, Paul, well, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, it's, you got to give me credit for going out there. You're not even giving me credit for going out there. And I'm like, Paul, you're a 35-year-old grown ass man. There's none of that giving me credit for doing it shit. Like, you're too grown for someone to give you credit for trying. Okay. You're not an 18-year-old child going into adulthood. Like, come on. And so, she's not giving him the warms and the feel goods. And so he tries to come at her about all the guys that she's talking to. And he's like, how does you think that makes me feel that you're talking to other guys? And I'm like, yeah, she's trying to take care of her and her baby, which you are not trying to do, sir. So don't come at her because she's figured out alternate ways of making money, even though low-key she's wrong. Like, she's wrong. She's married. She shouldn't be accepting money from men on the internet. I'm sorry, I'm looking through a bowl of cherries because I really want a piece of cherry and I want a good one. And so I just I see where she's coming from, but at the same time, she is kind of like dirts McGirts for doing that. And so he gets so frustrated and overwhelmed and I guess anxiety filled that he has to go outside and he finds a doghouse to hang out in. It's weird. And he's counting himself down, okay, calm down. And I'm like, girl, Paul is a whole fool. Paul is a whole entire boo-boo the fool, okay? And so she's like, is he in the doghouse? I guess he feels better and comes back in and starts to talk to her again. And she's like, you know what? I bet you're only jealous of these men because you know that they can do more for me. You think they're going to steal me from you. And he's like, how do you think it makes me feel? And she's like, I don't care. She walks away and she flips him off. And that's where their relationship, I guess, ends. I mean, they're still together, obviously. So the next thing we have with Karine is that she ends up going home to see her mom and telling her mom that Paul hasn't changed and that he's yelling at her and that she's crying and it isn't good for the baby. And mom's like, fuck him, let him go. Let's get you separated. Let's get you divorced. Let's go to the major city and do that. That way he can just go home and get out of our lives. Because you're not going to be on your own out there. You have family. You have me. You have your brothers. This child will be raised in love. And I'm just like, oh God, mom is like, that's exactly how I feel too. I'm like, get out of here. Go. I mean, Paul is not good for anyone. And I mean, I wish Karine had known that before she chose to have a baby by him. She's only 22. She could have waited 2 years to really figure out what kind of idiot he is. Oh, shoot. I don't know. It's just bad. So he gives back the ring, and I don't know where her ring is, but as far as we know at this point, they're broken up. I mean, we know in real life they're not because they were spotted in Walmart or something in Louisville. So I don't know if they're back together, but we do know there's that. So the next couple, let's move on, is Laura and Aladin. So with Laura and Aladin, I don't remember what happened to them last episode. I'm going to be honest with you. So I can only talk about what happened to them in this week's episode, which is Monday's episode yesterday. And it's been a week. What is it? She says 1 week. It's been a week. They're on their way to the beach and Laura starts to cry because she says that she's really, really homesick. And I felt like she's already been to Qatar once. Like, didn't she spend like 3 months with him before? And all of a sudden now she's homesick. And maybe she's homesick because this is like solidified that she's actually living here now. And she's going through a lot with Aladin. He's been mad at her because of the jiggy jiggy. And they go to the beach and she's got this modest bathing suit on and he like goes and jumps in the water and like is feeling refreshed. And he's basically like, look, I understand you're upset and you're homesick, but this is what women do. Women move into their men's to be with their husbands and that's it. So you should just get over it. But he's just not being as sensitive to her culture and the fact that that's never been her life or her path. And for him to just be like, you just need to get over it. Like, it's hard. And it's really on her though, for making the decision to move to Qatar. She's too grown. Also, she doesn't look good in Qatar. Like, I'm just like, she looks hot and uncomfortable and a sweaty mess. And I just like, Laura girl, like, you don't look happy, sis. And maybe you need to make yourself happy, especially because in 3 days you're about to, or no, in a couple days you're about to go to Tunisia to have like a big Tunisian wedding, like a 3-day affair. And I really want to know what his family and everybody thinks of it. They look like in the previews for the next episode, they might be okay with it. And I mean, we know that Ziad is in Tunisia as well. And Tunisia seems like a pretty liberal place because there's women there that are not wearing the hijab. So maybe they should live in Tunisia instead of Qatar. Qatar seems like it's really very Muslim conservative, you know? I mean, he can't help somebody with their birds in Tunisia, you know? Who knows? All right, let's see. She's crying in the cab. The cab driver's looking at her. I don't know, it's just an uncomfortable scene for me. I didn't particularly enjoy their segment this week. I just felt like, sis, you too grown to be crying over this little boy. Like, go home. You know, like that's what I felt like. Like, I mean, you tried it. It was an adventure. Like, just go home. Tell me you can't do it and go home. The house is still there. You'll be fine. Hey, Jessie Lee, thank you so much for making it. Thank you. All right, so the next couple that we are going to talk about is Jenny and Sumit. Okay, so in last episode, Sumit was gone and he was at his parents' house and Jenny is all alone and she's like, I am not staying in this house. I'm out. So she's outside trying to get the rickshaw to get to the place to try to get a job, like the job agency, and no one will stop for her. She's like waving her hand. They're just waving back and continue going on. And so she's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How am I going to get to the rickshaw? I don't know one will stop for me. It's kind of frustrating because Sumit isn't here. And so she finally gets one and he takes her to the spot. Somehow she explains to him where he needs to go. He takes her there. She gets there. And this man speaks no English. Okay, this person's supposed to help her get a job. But what little words he was saying, I felt like she should have been able to like understand, or like a producer should have helped her, like something. These people are shady because she's just like, I'm here for a job, you know. And he's like, do you have a visa? And she's like, yes. And he's like, are you illegal? And she's like, I'm not illegal. Like that's the word she heard. And I was just like, well, you're not illegal, but you legally cannot work in. You can't work in India. Like, you know, you have to have a work visa. And she's like, I just want, you know, like, I'm sorry, why are you going to a place that's obviously not an under the table type situation to get a job? You need an under the table situation because you don't have a work permit. It was just weird. So it was just like this. She was saying something, he would say something back, and she'd be like, I don't understand. And he's like, and he'd say something again, and she's like, no, still don't understand. I'm just like, these producers got you in here looking crazy, girl. She should have learned some. I mean, maybe there's different dialects. I don't know what language they're speaking. Perhaps there's different dialects, but she should have learned whatever the dialect is in New Delhi that most people speak. She should have learned some words in it. I mean, I know she did her very best. So like she's taking on Indian garb and she's trying to cook Indian food and be like a good Indian wife. But like, you need to learn a little bit more of the language, sis. Especially if your boyfriend is going to be traipsing off to be back with his family every couple of weeks. So Then her and Sumit meet up, and Sumit is getting his hair cut. He's at the barber in the street, which looks like a real cool situation. And she tells him, I went out. I did all this thing. Oh, and she also went to an internet cafe to talk to her daughter. And she told her daughter how lonely she was because Sumit had to go stay with his family for a while. And Sumit is like, you really felt that bold to leave the house without me? Like, he's really concerned. Like, the previews made it seem like Sumit was like controlling a little bit, but no, this was him like genuinely worried about her being out and being on her own. And she's like, I'm not going to sit in the house and wait for you. Like, she's like, I'm not your average 60-year-old woman. Like, I've been doing it all on my own for a very long time, and having me just sit up in the house is not going to work. I mean, maybe sitting in the house watching TV will help her learn the language. So maybe that's a good idea, but otherwise, she's like, no, it wasn't for me. And so he got a little annoyed with her, and she just came back at him with like, you need to come be with me. You told me you were going to be here with me, and now you're not. You're, running back to your family, and you're not being supportive, and I'm all alone. And he really didn't have anything big to say to that, besides the fact that he still didn't want her to go outside. And so then the next scene, he is finally back at her place. It's been 2 weeks, and he says that his family wanted to know his address. They wanted to know where he works. Like, they were really going in on him, and he managed to somehow like evade their questions, and he snuck off in the middle of the night to go back be with Jenny. He still lied to them. He was supposed to go over there and tell them the truth, and he didn't. He's still a liar. And that bothers me. Like, I'm just like, it just bothers me. Like, I know it bothered Jenny too, and she's far more understanding than I would be. But when he says that his family threatens him, I'm always thinking, threatening him with what? Like, is he the son of a rich man? Like, what are they threatening him with? Like, never speaking to him again? I hope that's not the case. That would suck. But I think he just needs to come clean and tell them. I mean, it's better than him sneaking around being weird. They must think he's up to God knows what, So she basically reads him his right the best way she can, and he then feels really bad and then takes her to a holy place so that he can tell her the truth. And they get there, and he's like, I want to do a promise ring sort of engagement ceremony with you. Like, we can't do the wedding, and I'm in a hard place, but I really want you to know that I do love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I don't want you to leave, and all this stuff. And she starts to cry and gives him a hug. And then the next day, she's cooking his favorite dish, something paneer. I think paneer is the one with like the cheese in it. I'm not sure. But yeah. So she's trying to make him a dish, and he's like, she's really good at cleaning, but the cooking part, I don't know what she fed her kids, and she did it all on her own. I'm like, in the US, there's so many options. Like, girl, him and Lena will not be in the kitchen cooking. I better hope I have a partner who can cook or I could cook stuff, but I don't enjoy it. If you guys follow my Instagram, you know I don't enjoy cooking. But anyway, so he's got her to the store. They're picking out spices, and he's trying to like not get her mixed up with the stuff. And she's like, be careful, don't get me mixed up because I don't want to make it wrong. And she's over there coughing over the spices, and then there's a knock at the door. And so she's in the kitchen, and he goes to answer the door because he's like terrified it's his parents. They found him. And she opens the door, and he's shocked. And then the person behind the door is like, shh, and they come in, and Jenny turns around, and it's her daughter and her daughter-in-law. And I'm just like, oh, that's so sweet. It was the sweetest moment. She's crying. She's like, what are you doing here? So after that video chat with her daughter and her daughter-in-law decided they were just going to hop on the plane and come see her because they were like, we don't want mom to be alone and lonely while Sumit is off doing whatever. And this is the first time they've actually met Sumit. And then they see the love between their mom and Sumit. They see that Sumit's there. They see how open he is. And I'm just like, I love them. I really do love Jenny and Sumit. And I am absolutely rooting for them. Absolutely. I'm just so absolutely. What are you guys saying? Girl, I can't wait for Sumi to bring his elderly BG. I don't know what that means. Those guys look old women, so you better hide your grandmas if you go to the Middle East. Oh, those guys it was just really sweet. I mean, it was just, he hugged the daughter, hugged the daughter-in-law, and it was just, it was such a great moment. And I was so happy for Jenny in that moment that she got to have a little bit of time with her family who she misses dearly. And she made all these big moves with Sumit. And I know she's been regretting her choice to come to India to be with Sumit if he wasn't going to do everything that he promised he was going to do. And I think this is just going to help her, give her a second wind, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy for them. So that's the end of their segment, and maybe next time we'll see more that happens with her being there. All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Corey and Evelin. So the last thing I remember before this episode was Corey being called the name of somebody else that used to be her boyfriend, and him trying to correct that person. So this episode, Corey has gone hiking with their friend Raul. Raul is actually Evelin's friend, but has become good friends with Corey because he speaks English. And so they're hiking and they're, high-fiving and whatnot, being bros. And Raul says that he has something he has to tell Corey. It's two things. One, that everybody in the town is calling him El Chop, I don't know, something that's like being cuckold, which is basically like, when your girlfriend is cheating on you. So, when a guy is being cuckold, that means that his wife is cheating on him. So that's what they're basically calling him. Everyone in the town, because it's a really small community, because they all know that Evelin hooked up with the guy while they were broken up that one time, about a year ago. So he's been the laughing stock of the town since he's been there, and he hadn't known it. Then Raul also tells him that him and Evelin had a thing way before Corey and Evelin were ever a thing, but he just felt like because they're friends, he ought to tell him. And I thought to myself, you old stirring the pot ass man. Like, this is not a conversation that real bros have with each other. You know that you're just causing trouble between them. Like, I don't know why the producer set that man to do it or why he agreed to do it, girl, but he was stirring the pot. And so Corey is already insecure and doesn't know which way is up or down because he's worried that Evelin doesn't really love him, which we all know Evelin doesn't really love him as much as he loves her. And Raul said some statement that there's like a statement in Ecuador that, the person who has all the power is the person that loves the least. And so it's true, I've never heard it put that way, but basically Evelin has all the power because she doesn't love Corey, the way that he loves her. So Corey's upset. He goes back to Evelin, tells Evelin all this information. And Evelin's like, Raul told you that? Well, he must be jealous because it doesn't make any sense. And Corey's like, yeah, I think he is jealous. I'm like, first of all, nobody is jealous because you got Evelin. I don't know. Maybe it's because she don't have no kids that she's like the hot commodity in Engabao. But like, what is there to be jealous of Evelin for? Is what I want to know. I feel like everything that she has in Engelbau is because of Corey. So maybe she's fun. Like maybe outside of being with Corey, she's actually a fun girl who smiles a lot. But we never see her smile. We always see her looking just kind of mean and bitchy. So there's nothing, I don't get any warmth or anything from Evelin for anyone to be jealous. I don't know, girl. Anybody to be wanting her over someone else. Like she doesn't seem warm and inviting. She just seems kind of like, like standoffish, like she doesn't care. And like, if you like her, that's fine, but she doesn't like you. Anyways, so I wanted to really be on Evelin's side, but I couldn't after this. Like he bought her a promise ring. She's like, honestly, I don't know where the ring is. And he's like, well, I'm taking mine off. And she's like, fine then. And he's like, well, promise me like that. Nothing's going to come between us. And like, where did you hook up with this guy? Did you hook up here in this bed? And she gets upset because she knows she did. Because if she didn't have sex with that man in their bed, then she would have said, no, not here. It was at his place. But the fact that she wouldn't answer means that she did. It means that she had that man all up inside of that house that he pays for. So I can no longer be on Evelin's side. Corey is a fool. Don't get me wrong. Like this is him. He did this to himself. But I still just am like, she's still wrong. And she knows she's wrong. And she's on camera being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to do your dirt and keep it, just an Engelbau. It's a whole other thing for the whole United States to see your dirt. And the whole United States is seeing her dirt. So she starts to cry like she's some kind of victim, girl. And we're just like, girl, why are you crying? Because you got caught up with the cameras. You knew what you was doing. You knew you didn't really love this man the way he loved you. And you let him come to the U.S. because you're just like, fuck it. You let him come to Ecuador. Really, there's no reason for her to not allow him to do this. He's a grown man. And she probably wanted to maintain some kind of relationship with him, especially because they have the business. But she really didn't want him to come there and live. And she really didn't want to live in the U.S. So she just needs to cut her losses and break up with him. They need to break up. That's what I think. All right, that is all that I have. Who am I missing? You guys, let me know who I'm missing. Mags says, I think they're both wrong. Her for taking advantage of this man and him for allowing it. Mm-hmm. Kirby says she wanted his money. I don't think necessarily his money. Like, I think she did like him, but it's like, you know, like when you kind of like somebody, but like, and you see the benefit in you dealing with them, but once they start to get on your nerves, you're just like, okay, I gotta get out of this. As long as they don't get on your nerves, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? It happens. The African girl, Caesar. This isn't, Caesar's in before the 90 days. This is the other way. Tiffany, this is the other way. I already talked about Caesar and Maria in the other episode. So then, did I get everybody? I must have got everybody then. Good. I don't know. The other way is a little boring. Like, it really could, for me, just be Jenny and Sumit, and I'd be still interested in it. The white guy and the African girl. That's still in before the 90 days. Is there another white guy and African girl in the other way? Is there a white guy moving to Africa? No, there's Laura moving to Qatar. Oh, Tiffany and Ronald, they weren't in this episode, thank God. Because I don't care about them either. I think that's it. Oh, thank you, Luan. Hugs from Brazil. What African girl? Are you guys talking about the other way? You're not. This is the other way. This is where the Americans move to whatever other country. You guys are talking about before the 90 days. Oh, thank you, Shayna from Singapore. Yeah, I talked about Jihoon already. Thanks. Thanks for saying my teeth are white. You guys are still talking about before the 90 days. I already did a review on my before the 90 days. It is, oh, Chris and I didn't talk about, oh my God. Did we talk about Benjamin? Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, so anyways, if you guys want to see an edited version of our thoughts or my thoughts on 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, Chris just uploaded a video, 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, season 3, episode 3, Little Lies. It is up. I'm actually watching it on TV right now. It's on pause. And so you guys should go watch it. It's the edited version of my live. It's on Chris' channel, Chris Farah. Go check it out. I already talked about Paul and Karine. Okay, so those of you guys who are not watching this live, that is the end of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out my merch down below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Oh, and let's have a kiki and a conversation in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this episode. All right, so for those of you who are watching this live, hi guys, I'm here. Thanks, Lynn J. Oh, Lynn J's in the house. Oh my God, all the moderators are in the house. Thank you guys so much for joining this. Yeah, Coco Bang Bang, you're late. I already talked about everybody. Can we please talk about these people's criticism about their partner's country? What do you mean, Esther? Give me an example. Sarah says, Little Lies Part 1 and 2 aired this week if you girls only did Part 1. Oh, if it didn't air on TV, then I didn't do it. So I think those of you who are abroad are getting like other things. Or if it's on demand, I'm not doing that either. Because it just throws me off. So I'm getting the ones that are recording on my DVR that came on TLC. And usually it's only an hour. Well, 90 days before the 90 days is 2 hours. Thank you, Luan. Okay. I wish y'all were the hosts. Thanks, you, C-Ruff. Tiffany says they need to do Marriage Bootcamp 90-day edition. Thank you, Sally. Kim from Philly says, hey, Wah. Mariah says, I just saw another episode on YouTube. Willie says, love you, Wah. You're my favorite. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Zoe says, I'm really hoping Jihoon gets it together in Korea. You need to deposit at the least 2 months of rent to apply for an apartment. Yeah, I really hope he gets it together too. Jennifer says, the only couple I like is Jenny and Sumit. Luan says, marry me. Luan, really? Tell me your credentials. Email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. Brita Matt says, what is a kiki? Oh, kiki is like, you know, gossip and chitty chat and like, you know, when you're talking about somebody. That's kiki, girl. They kikiing. Or like if I'm kikiing with a coworker over in the corner, just like chitty chatting, talking shit, gossiping, you know. Hi, Renee. Your skin looks darker in this background and it's beautiful. Thank you. Shayla says, as an Indian, I understand Sumit's dilemma. I was dating a Black African and my parents were not okay with it. It's just too much stress. Okay, so Shayna, tell me what the threat is. Like, I get that your family, will they really disown you? And what does that mean? Hi, Sheila from North Cal. Mag says maybe Jihoon is planning on bringing them to his parents' home, or they might be helping him financially to get an apartment. But his parents is like, they have a small home. Drusilla is going to be like a Tasmanian devil in that house. No, he can't have you. I want you. Oh, thanks, Willie. Kathy, bye. Bye, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining. Renee says, are you going to talk about JC NFL thing sometime this week? I'm totally lost. Maybe I should write that down. I was going to talk about that, and I don't understand what the controversy is, so I need to do some research on it. JZ, I'm putting notes. And then I also want to talk about Normani and her music video. There was also something else I wanted to talk about too. I'm gonna keep that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow. I'm leaving here tonight, but Chris is gonna try to convince me to stay. So what happened is that we went to Louisiana. We went to Popeyes to get that magical sandwich that everybody's talking about, but it's sold out because everybody's buying it. And so we were gonna try to do a live tomorrow morning with chicken sandwiches in the morning. We'll see if it happens. Okay. Quenisha says they are always talking about things that they don't like that are typical in that country. For example, like, oh, okay, yeah, I agree. I've been saying Jihoon is a fuckboy. Okay. Natty says, can't wait for Aladin and Laura to crash and burn. Shayna says, Asian people in general can't relate to this, but on different spectrum. But yeah, brown parents are totally emotionally manipulative at some point. It affected my relationship with my parents greatly. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I mean, it definitely happens in the U.S. here to like when your family has that much say culturally and like who you marry or who you're with. And I think that time for me passed. I think there was a time in my life where my dad was like, you better only bring home a Black man. And I'm like, then you should not have me living in the suburbs surrounded by all these non-Black people. Like, if that's what you wanted, then we should have lived in Atlanta. But I think now, they just want, also I'm too grown for them to tell me what to do. But that's US culture and my personal US culture. There's still, I think, women out there whose family still has an opinion and a say in who they're with and whatnot. Yes, approval of Indian parents is needed big time. And Delhi is one of those typical Indian places, and threatening like disowning and not accepting the marriage. Oh, that's horrible. I feel bad for him. Same here. My Indian ex, I chose to break it off to stop fighting with his family. Oh, no. Thank you, Lindsay. Danny the girl. Some Americans have such a bad time going to places and won't work in America. LOL. I think it teaches them a lot. Yeah, that does bother me when they go there. And I mean, I get it. If you're in a foreign country and you're like, oh, in America. When I moved to New York City, I was like, in California. I kept saying in California all the time. My coworkers were annoyed with me. But if I went to a completely different country, like there are moments where you're just like, oh my God, it's so different here. Like in the US, like, you know, especially if you're used to, I don't know, like in Belize, like sometimes, like when I was at certain houses, like everyone had showers, but sometimes you just like get a bucket and you like wash, and like, I don't think anything is wrong with that. Like, I wouldn't be as like, I can't wash my hair. I'm like, how do people wash their hair? You just figure it out. So like, there are some conveniences that I would not mind. And then there are some conveniences that I would have such a problem with. Inconveniences, I'd just be like, geez Louise, I can't, like, not having access to the internet. And I recently found out, because I was watching Patriot Act on Netflix with Hasan Minhaj, that a lot of places in the US don't have internet. And I'm just like, what? But yeah, that would be the one thing I would not be able. I'm like, no, I need it. I need to be able to ask questions and have them answered at the drop of a dime. Culture shock is given, but imperial arrogance is not acceptable. I agree with you. Danny says he has such a hard time non-efficient things, but that we're used to. Well, Lindsay says, I know. You're talking about my skin. Great. I think Aladin is in for the fame as well. Esther says there's a difference when you compare because of the culture shock, but it's another criticizing, hoping it will be the same. I agree, Esther. Yeah. Oh my God. Hasan Minhaj is so hot. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, he's so hot. I wish that he was like 20 pounds heavier. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he must be so skinny, but he is so hot. And I watched the Patriot Act just for his smile. I mean, I'm learning things, but girl, he's hot. He's hot, girl. Christina says, Hasan is sexy. As in, I'm Indian, Singaporean, and my boyfriend is Black American. I'm not from the US. Oh no, I understood that. Why do you have a man? Because you're just too damn sexy. No, I don't have a man. You obviously have been watching my channel very long. I'm hashtag super single all of my life. Quenisha, what do you say? You pronounce my name right. I'm surprised a lot of people don't. Oh, Quenisha? Really? They're not reading? So my name is Wahima, right? It's spelled Wahima. I'm going to spell it in a little thingy, right? And I'm going to tell you what this woman at the doctor's office called me. She said, Wahimina. And I said, Wahimina? Like, there's no N in my name. Like, it's not even, it's like, wah. Like, people people do not read. And I'm like, you work in a whole doctor's office and you have the audacity to be like, Wahimi. You didn't even try. You didn't even try. It's crazy. It's just so ridiculous. All those, it was just like, sometimes people call me Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina. First of all, do you actually know someone named Wilhelmina? No, you don't. Most people don't know a Wilhelmina. And two, Wilhelmina is like WILH HIMINA. You just like literally added so much to my name. Like, it's crazy. They don't even try. It makes me so mad. What? Elisa, you don't think Hasan Minhaj is, oh my God. Let me find a good picture, girl. What? What? I can't believe you just said that. You don't think this man is sexy? This man? You're like, no, he's not. Let's not look at the other. This person right here. This person. Okay? Wait, let me find better pictures of him. Okay, wait. You don't. wait. Let's focus. It's not focusing. Look at this picture here. He looks better with a beard. I can't get it to focus. Oh, look at that. What? Are you kidding me? Kidding me? I wish he was a little heavier because I feel like he might be thick as a skinny man, you know? Look at that smile. His hair looks really soft. He's married and got a whole baby. I'm not trying to like, I just think he's a very handsome man and I'm happy for his wife. I'm happy for his wife. Luan says, I'm looking for a great love. Women in Brazil don't want anything serious. I mean, I find that hard to believe. I find that there's probably a whole country of women in Brazil. You haven't seen every woman in Brazil, Luan. Feed him Popeyes and he'll be good. Yes, happy for her too. Black girl reviews. LOL, he's not hot. Sorry. Okay, girl. He's cute, but so tiny. A whole baby, not half. A whole baby. Wait until he goes salt and pepper. Oh, he's so hot. Oh, stop, your future man is getting jealous. Willie, you're ridiculous. Kirby says I'm 61 and I think he's fine. He's cute. I mean, he's definitely like, and he's so smart and funny too. It's all of that. It's the charisma. It's the like, you should watch one of his episodes. Like, he's very skinny, which is the only thing that I'm like, ugh. But if you watch one of his episodes of Patriot Act, no matter what the topic is, you're going to learn you something. And I appreciate that. I wish his show is something that a kind of show that I wish I could have. Except I wouldn't be standing up. I wouldn't memorize a monologue. I would be sitting down and I'd be wearing like cute little outfits, like business outfits, like pencil skirts and high heels, and like shirts that have like maybe like a ruffle and like a shoulder situation. And I'd be behind a desk and then I'd be telling you guys, it's like what I would love morning tea to be. Like I would have a mug and it would be more like a kiki conversation about things that are going on in the world, but it would be funny and it would be, we would get all of our information. Obviously I'd have to have a crew of people because girl, she doesn't like to do research, but I like to tell what I find. So I'm really good at, talking about things that happen in a way that people are able to take in and are palatable. So, and I learned this because when I was in college, I took a history course and it was American history and it was the time of the robber barons. So it was the time when like those presidents who were president, like, who weren't actually running the company at the time. It was after Lincoln. It was like in the 1900s. And so like you learned about JP Morgan and you learned about Rockefeller and you learned about like all of those like heavy hitters. Like JP Morgan was banking. Rockefeller was, I think, architecture or like land. And then there was one other guy who was the steel guy. I can't remember his name. But I talked about them. And the way I talked about them, my teacher was like, why don't you like be a history teacher? And I'm like, because I don't want to write papers and I don't want to read other people's boring information. But if people give me the information, then I can put it in a way that's fun. So anyways, that's what I like to do. Okay, so I was looking at his face and his body because I love me a thick man. Fassbender is gorgeous. I can do the research while. Thanks, Shayna. Nappy 10, probably because she's so real and not the type to sell out to be a TV personality. Ooh, wait, what? I mean, what does selling out mean? Well, how come you aren't on a show? Because nobody wants to hire me. I've gone on auditions and stuff. Like, actually, Chris and I have gone out on auditions, like one audition as a duo, like a duo to like host a show, and we didn't get it, which is fine. It's not that we weren't amazing because we were having everybody in the room crack up. They were all laughing at us, but we just didn't get it because we're not what the network was looking for. So it's not about like, it's about building the presence here on YouTube in order to succeed. Because like once they see that people, okay, one, social media doesn't always translate into network, right? So because somebody will watch me on social media doesn't mean that they will watch you on a network show or a TV show or whatever, right? The internet has way more international reach than American network television. So while somebody will pay you big bucks to have a show on TV, that show could easily be taken away from you if nobody goes and watches it. So that's why it's best to have like 1 million followers on every last single one of your social media, because even if you only get 3% of them to go to watch whatever you do, that's still a lot of people that are going to watch your show, I think that it would be best to do something like Phil DeFranco and to have something on YouTube or on the internet where it reaches an international audience. But then you also have to think about the point of view, right? Because I do get a lot of criticism. I have a very specific, not only American, but Black woman who's got a father who's not from the US, but a mother who is from the US and who is American herself, like grew up in a time where like being dark skinned wasn't cool, grew up in a time in a place where speaking the way I speak was ostracized. So I'm coming from a very specific niche perspective, and it's hard to make that relatable to everybody. Like, I'll say something like in one of my last lives, in the last live where I was talking about Akini and Ben, how I was saying the Kenyan girl and the white guy, I was saying that that she would probably be fine with having to take care of his son. Like, I was like, oh yeah, no, she'll be fine. She'll be able to take care of his son. Like, you know, it's not like she's some like hottie toddy, like Colombian girl who's like just coming to America for like whatever. Jesse, we're going to have to hide him from the channel. So anyways, like, so I have that, you know, I just made that off the cuff comment, like, not to say that all Colombian women wouldn't be able to step in, but I'm thinking like of a 19-year-old like Instagram model who like only wants to come to the US to find a white man to live the dream. You know, that's what I was thinking. But there were people who literally were like, oh, you're just saying that, you don't know Colombian women. And I'm like, why if I say one thing, the automatic thought is you hate this other thing. You're basically saying that Colombian women are sketchy. I'm like, I didn't say anything like that. I just said it's not like she's a young hottie toddy Colombian girl who's just trying to get to the US. Like, she seems like a real person. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong. People were so like offended that I thought that this girl could possibly want to take care of this man's kid, or I wasn't in doubt of it. So it's just really weird. Yeah, people get, and it's not even that they get offended, it's that they're ready to be contrary. They're ready for you to say something wrong so you can be contrary. So yeah, it's just kind of a lot. So it's like, I don't know if that audience would be open to it. I would need to have an intelligent audience to begin with. And TV and networks really stop you from being able to, they really put up a fourth wall, so that the person who's on TV doesn't necessarily have to deal with the criticism unless you have a Twitter, which I'm not active on Twitter. There's no place to come and like berate me unless you wanted to come to Instagram and I just block you, you know? But yeah, it's a very interesting like situation when it comes to navigating the interwebs, for me especially, because I want to talk to people, but sometimes you have to temper what you say in order to talk to people. And that defeats the whole purpose of like talking to people, I feel like. All right. So I'm not into social media. I just can't. Luan Mina says, I see no problem in dating a person from another country. Actually, I think it's cooler. Okay. I don't see any problem with it either. Were you talking to me? Mariah, it was pretty random to mention the nationality though. Why? It makes it more specific. It makes it like, you know, as a foreigner, I don't think that you're American. Ha ha ha. Hoyo, I understand any Instagram model wouldn't be ready to be an instant stepmom. And you and Chris should definitely do reenactments of these reality shows and a comedy act. I met too many of these rich white American kids who talk about the world like an American arrogance. Avery's mom is on steroids. She's American, just first generation. I think social media is not a safe place to express your personal views without receiving backlash. Esther, you're right. Wow, the Jenny impression caused me to spit out my ass when breeding treatment. You're welcome. I'm sorry. I mean, not you're welcome. I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like when you're telling jokes or trying to be funny or trying to be whatever, like it's better to be more specific. But it's never meant to be, I don't know. Here's the deal. I don't get offended when people say like, she's not a stupid American, like stupid American. It's like that. There are stupid Americans. Like, I don't get upset about stuff like that. So it always is weird for me when people love to get mad about it. Like, it's not personal. Who am I? Why do you think of Colombia when talking hot to trot women? Were you just thinking about Jennifer and Tim? Yeah, that's what I thought about, is Jennifer and Tim. You know, who else? Is it funny? It was funny. I don't think it's offensive. LOL, I thought about Jennifer instantly. Yeah, like I feel like Jennifer is like, I don't know, even though she has a kid, like I feel like she would be some kind, I don't think she would go with the guy who has a kid. And part of me, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not, And maybe I'm just judging her because and it's nothing to do with her being Colombian. I'm judging her, I think, because I'm like, oh, she's an Instagram model. And like, I feel like she's trying to come to the US. And it's not a judgment of like, she's bad, because I'm okay with Larissa being an Instagram model and trying to come to the US. Like, I don't think, as you guys know, I am all about the woman in any country or person in any country trying to come to America on the backs of an American to have that American dream. Like, I do not think anything is wrong with that. I just think that some people, like, or even like, what's her name? Anfisa. Like, Anfisa wasn't going to take care of what's his name's kid if that kid was his. And to me, I was like, that sucks. Like, when she was already married to Jorge and found out that he might have had a kid, and she was like, I'm not going to be with me as a kid. I was like, come on, Anfisa. Like, I mean, I know you didn't sign up for that, but still, like, it just feels weird and heartless to say it out loud on TV. I don't like the stereotype of South American women, feisty Latina. I'm South American and nothing like that. In our whole country, especially it's a special kind of breed. Considering the context, she said it was fine. Evelin's from Ecuador, not Colombia. LOL, I think it's based on 90 Day Fiancé. I thought of Jennifer when she said it to herself, like, she likes a Ferrari. I'm sure that's the narrative they're trying to push. Yeah, I used to hate it. I hated it too when Danny the girl, when Colt used to call Larissa that she was like yelling. I'm like, she's not yelling. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she's not yelling. And he's just like, you're just getting so upset. And I don't like that. I don't like that there's this, like, he can just say she's yelling and that means she was. Like, no, I want to hear her yell. She wasn't yelling at you. She was just expressing her feelings. Feisty is better than the angry black woman trope. I don't think either one is better, to be honest, Tiffany. I think I don't like the like spicy Latina. I don't like that either. Like, it's okay if someone who's Latina refers to herself as being a spicy Latina or being Latina, so she'll do whatever. But like, I don't like it when other people do it. I mean, because I wouldn't want it if it was like angry black women. And not that there aren't angry black women. Not that someone's personal experience could be that every black woman they come across is angry. But if you're using it if you're a YouTube person and you use it and I'm watching you, that doesn't mean I'm going to comment and say not every black woman is whatever. I'm just like, maybe that's their experience. You know, that's what I'm talking about is if I don't like something that someone says, then I just don't like it. But that doesn't mean I need to throw them out. That doesn't mean I need to call them out on it. That doesn't mean I need to like fight the fight. Like, if you think that someone is being an angry black woman, if you want to call Omarosa this, if you want to say something about Condoleezza Rice, if you want to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to say something about Michelle Obama and her look being too hard, then I'm just like, that is what you think it is. But it's not true. But it's fine. That's what you think it is. Well, a lot of things didn't add up with them on camera. Larissa accused them of things that didn't make sense, that we didn't see, and he did the same. Just stuff we didn't see on camera. I agree. Those comments are prejudice. Okay. I don't think either one is better. I'm everything but spicy, LOL. But spicy enough to land an American, apparently. What did Mariah say? I don't think you had bad intentions, but it was random to specify a nationality in the context of the conversation. Okay, Mariah, I can see that. But I definitely wasn't meaning to, but I thank you for saying that. I definitely wasn't meaning to be like specific to Colombian women. I was just like, I don't know. Is Paola from Colombia too? I think I was mainly thinking about Jennifer, but we also have like, would Paola take care of Russ's baby? We don't know. We don't know if Paola would have been with him. I mean, she sure don't want to be with him now, and it's her baby. We don't know. The world may never know. Spicy Latina is better, less damaging because there are men who are fetish Latina women for it. There are Latin women who embrace it, whereas angry black women is a trope used to silence black women. I don't know if I agree with you, Hot Cocoa Bang Bang. I think it comes from the same place. I mean, there could be feisty and fiery and spicy. Those can be negative too. Like, it also puts I think it puts a sense of like, it adds the fetishism. I agree. But I also think like it adds a sense of like sexuality that can be not as complementary, because I think when you put sexuality on women, then men tend to go, they fetishize the sexuality part of it. That, and I don't know, I'm not explaining myself right, but it's like, if she's a feisty, spicy Latina, for me, and maybe I'm the only person that goes there, I think of like long legs and like tango and like kicking your leg up and like being sensual and like sexy, and it like adds a layer that may not be welcomed. Like maybe Danny, I'm going to use Danny because she says she's not spicy. Maybe Danny doesn't want the spiciness to be put on her. Now, maybe it isn't as like, I don't think that they're the same, but I think that they have equal outcomes. I'm not explaining myself. But anyways, Jimena was a spicy girl. No, Jimena was, I don't know. I don't know what spicy means really. Like when I think of spicy, I think of a stereotype. Like I think of a cartoon stereotype of what a Latina is supposed to be. Like, do you guys remember that cartoon Atlantis? And then you remember the character who was like the Latina, who was like she was like the mechanic, and how she was like so curvy. And just like, that's what I think of. I think of like when men draw women. Feisty is used in two different contexts, sexual or aggressive. One time somebody called me feisty and I was annoyed. They're like, "Ooh, you feisty." And I was like, what? Even if I am, I don't know. Sometimes I get so annoyed with men when they say things to me, because nobody says, there's no things like that for men. I mean, besides calling them beta males, and maybe I shouldn't call them beta males, but some of them are. It doesn't always dismiss it. They use it to kindly say, I was being aggressive. Okay, Tiffany, Laura is on a TV show, hence that's why she married her, plus he had money. Sometimes feisty is condescending, like when they want to say you're angry, but they're too afraid to say it. Yeah, Katoria, that is just what Esther said. Shayna, I have some Latina girlfriends who always felt like they had to attract guys and keep them with using their sexuality. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I'm Mexican and I have never used the word spicy or intimidating. All right, you guys. So we're at 57 minutes. So our, chit chat part of it is almost to an end. I want to thank you guys so much for your commentary. Thank you, Mariah, for your perspective. I absolutely appreciate it. And thank you so much, Danny, the girl, for giving your perspective as a South American Latina as well. And thank you to Hot Cocoa Bang Bang and Esther and all you guys who were like giving me, talking about this scenario. It's interesting. Like, I do want to talk about it because I do want to learn and like, get better as a person. Oh, and is Andrea? I don't know. I don't know what you said, but don't worry about it. Now you know. Calling somebody feisty might not be as welcome. We're here to learn. We're here to learn, you guys. So thank you so much, you guys, for giving your perspective and for teaching each other and for being able to have these open conversations. Like, and I'm here to learn too. I just like to be approached as though I'm not coming from a negative spot. So I definitely want to thank you, Mariah, for stepping forward and saying what you did say. And so to have me learn, and I'll try to be more careful, but I definitely wasn't intending to be like all Colombian women are this, but that was the thing that was taken from it. And that's the thing that's hard about the internet, is that there's always this opposite pull when you say something. And it's because I don't do that personally. If someone says something I don't like, I'm just like, I don't agree with that, but I can still watch you and still get down, So I want to I love that you guys are like doing this. I love that 90 Day Fiancé brings in an international community, and I love learning about other things, and I love, I love it. So I want to thank you for that. All right. I think that's it. Open dialogue is the key. All right, you guys. So that's the end of this video. Again, you guys have a fantastic day. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Oh my God, it's the evening. Have a good night. It's 8:21 p.m. here. Oh, thanks. All right. Danny says, we should have a special live to discuss this kind of topics. It's nice that you have people from all over. I totally get your perspective as well. Yeah, I do. I do morning tea. Morning tea is where I do that. I know it's not convenient for most people, but morning tea is that. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do. There are 358 people in this room, so thank you so much for watching. Yeah, and I might go live later on tonight, or I might go live tomorrow morning, depending if we can get those Popeyes chicken sandwiches. I want to thank Jessie Lee, Lynn J, and Tiana Harris for coming in the room and being my moderators. You guys are always doing it. Yeah, you can email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. And yeah. All right. Oh, it's morning. And Shayna, where are you? You're not in India, right? Or are you in India? I know you're Indian. Are you in India? It's morning and starting here. All right. Bye.